Hey, welcome back everybody. Today for the lunch break, I'm gonna actually do a quick video on what's going on with GameStop stock right now. So quick, because this is about stocks and financial stuff, I just wanna make a little warning to get the SEC off my back. Don't shut this down. This is not financial advice, so nobody go out and buy anything based on anything I'm saying here in this video. You're responsible for your own money. Absolutely, I'm not a financial expert. All I'm doing is reporting on what's going on in the world right now with GameStop stock, why it's a big deal. Even if you don't understand anything about investing, maybe I'll teach you something new about shorting stocks and the market and how it works. But again, don't go out and buy GameStop stock. If you do, that's on you. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying right now. So let's go and explain what the heck is going on with GameStop and Wall Street Bets subreddit right now in the world, and why it's just so super important and very timely, just with the state of what the world is right now. So in case anyone has any kind of doubts about the fact that, the elite rich class runs the planet and they play by different rules than everybody else in order to keep them in power, if you haven't been paying attention to this GameStop thing, now we have basically irrefutable proof about just how corrupt the world actually is. So what's going on right now? Basically, GameStop is a brick and mortar video game retailer. They sell games and PlayStations and that kind of stuff. And largely they're going the way of Blockbuster. So they're going the way of typical retail game stores, and you can kind of expect that they're going to die out. So what a lot of large hedge funds have been doing is opening short positions on GameStop and driving the stock down into the floor. So let's quickly make a little brief aside right now and talk about what the heck is a short position. What does short selling a stock mean? So when you buy a stock, typically, you're just buying shares in the company, and your expectation is that you're buying companies that are going to do well, and you want to sell the stock at a higher price down the road in order to make a profit. Now, shorting is the complete opposite of that. You think a company is garbage. You think that they're going to be worth less in the future. So what you actually do is you do the reverse of buying a stock. So shorting is actually when you borrow a stock off of somebody else and you sell it immediately. Now there'll be contract terms for when you have to repay that person that stock, but your goal is actually to sell it at today's price, which you believe is high, and you're going to wait down the road and rebuy that stock at a lower price and then give the person that you borrowed the stock their stock back. So this is what shorting a stock is. Now, what's in it for the lender of that stock? Basically, they charge you a fee to hold and loan borrow their stock. So if you don't close your position, you're paying a fee. And the further away that the stock price gets from the position, typically the fee will ramp up. Okay, so what's going on right now? Now, that's normal shorting a stock. Let's just say that I have a bunch of buddies and we're all gonna buy and sell stocks, but they're gonna buy through me because I'm just gonna act as the intermediate body. I'll say buy Walmart stocks, and nothing against Walmart or anything. I'm just using Walmart because people know what Walmart is. Now, Johnny, my friend, thinks Walmart's going to go down. So he's going to take a short position on me, and I'm going to kind of work that out with him. But we're actually not going to trade any stock. I'm just going to do it behind closed doors, maybe in an Excel file. I'll mark that Johnny has shorted a stock, but nothing's actually happening in the physical real world. Now, this is called naked shorting. Now, naked shorting happens when you don't actually physically borrow the stock in order to short it. You just kind of you do it behind closed doors. Now, typically this isn't really a good practice and should largely be illegal, but this is the real world, and the rich do this because they have a lot of leverage, they have a lot of money in the institutions, and they can kind of push their money around and make people do, more gray area, not necessarily illegal things, but gray area things that are just wrong, pretty much. And it's important why, because the rich have basically backed themselves into a corner here. And this is why the GameStop thing is going so big. Because let's go back a bit explain. So that's what naked shorting is. It's where you don't physically borrow the stock. And it's really important, and we'll talk about that coming up. And this is why this has become such a big thing. Okay, so moving back a bit in time, a bunch of large hedge funds had opened massive short positions on Gamestop, and probably for a pretty good reason. It's pretty understandable that the company is going to eventually be worth less, just with the way that the world is going. Video games you can download now. Why do you have to go into a brick and mortar store? All that kind of stuff. Now, they opened large short positions. Typically, if the amount of short positions is roughly around 20% of the available stock out there, that's kind of your, as a shorter, that is your indicator that things are getting a little bit dangerous. And you got to be really careful with the risk you're taking on. Now, in terms of Gamestop, this stock has actually been shorted to 150%. So that means that there's actually more short positions out there than there are stock available to actually close your positions. Because remember, the people who have the short positions, they have to at some point in the future buy that stock back to repay it to the guy they borrowed it. So if there's more short positions and they were all forced to close it right away, they physically cannot do it because there's not enough floating stock out there. That's what they call stock float, and you can get into kind of that down the road if you want to get more into this stuff. But let's just say for the meantime, this is really important because they basically back themselves into a corner. So what these guys typically do is they will open a large short position, and then because they have so much money, they'll take another stack of their money and they'll sell GameStop stock. And now you see this huge hedge fund has completely sold their stock in GameStop. And that signals to the investors out there that, you know, these super rich, smart guys have no confidence in GameStop, and they're trying to panic people into selling. So they were doing this leading up to this event. So they're opening short positions and then triggering panic events by selling large amounts of stock and hoping that they create a snowball effect of panic. And then they can watch the stock price crash. They can go in and scoop up that cheap stock and repay their lenders and make a mint off it. Now, this is just another day in Wall Street. This is basically what they do. And this is why, you know, Wolf on Wall Street and all that kind of stuff. Like, Wall Street is full of wolves, and the rich basically, you know, own and control all of this, and they play by different rules, and that allows them to get richer and richer off the back of everybody else. So why is this so beautiful? Okay, so I hope you're all still with me. I hope somebody, you know, some of you learned maybe something about stock market trading in that, you know, 7 minutes or so. But I really hope everyone stayed with me because this is where it gets just chef's kiss beautiful. Okay, so what happened now is some really smart investors on Wall Street Bets in Reddit have noticed a couple really important things about GameStop. First off is that they actually did pretty well with PlayStation 5 sales. So they're actually not on the brink of basically going bankrupt. That company is going to be around for a little while, and this makes this play coming up, you know, really safe. The second thing they noticed is that whole entire float stock short ratio, that there's more short positions out against the stock than are available stock to basically close those positions off. And this is where things get really interesting. So an organized, well, not really even organized, bunch of Redditors on Wall Street Bets said, hey, this is a good opportunity to basically go in, triggering a giant buy, because these people are going to have to close their short positions at some point. There's contract lengths on this. And for example, many of them are closing this Friday in the next couple days. So they have to close the position at some point within that contract. So these people have to close those short positions, and that's all fully available and public knowledge and information. And they're hoping, obviously, that the stock price goes down. Well, what if we got a bunch of people together and we just, you know, recommended, hey, I'm buying this stock. These are the reasons why. I'm not telling you to buy the stock, but, you know, if you wanted to, this is where this could go. And well, it caught on fire and it caught a lot of steam. So a lot of people started buying GameStop, and it's because it's a good company and we like this stock. So they bought GameStop, and for no reason other than, you know, we like this stock and we notice that you guys are about to close your short positions, and If the stock price goes up, then you have to buy. Now, here's the interesting thing. When those short positions close, they close them by buying the stock. So when these massive short positions that eclipse the amount of stock available in the market, and they're buying the stock, putting more upwards pressure on the stock. Now, if there's not a whole lot of stock available to sell because people are just buying and holding and refusing to sell, what happens is that market book, the order book on people willing to sell, just gets crushed through really quickly as people close their positions off. And then new people can add a new sell order much higher. So if the stock is maybe $20 and there's $1 million worth of people willing to sell at 20 bucks, someone who has $10 million worth of short position goes in and closes it. They can only close 1 million of it. And then now they have to go to the next person who's maybe selling at $25 a share. And in this way, the stock price rises. Now, once they crush through that order book, then new people can put in new orders, say, I bought at 20 bucks. I didn't, but let's just say I bought at 20 bucks and I'm going to sell you at 100. And if it just sits there and it never gets triggered, then it never gets triggered. But if you crush through that order book and now I'm the only person out there selling GameStop and I'm selling at 100, you have two choices to make. You can either refuse to sell to me and hope that the price comes back down, or you can take the risk or you can just close the position out. But if you don't sell to me, you take the risk that someone else will sell to me, and then now there's no $100 option. The next one is another dude who's selling for $200, and now you got to close to him. So that's basically what's happening with the stock. This is called the short squeeze. So when all these short positions get closed off, if there's no one selling, then anyone that does come in and sell is kind of setting their own price. That's what's happening right now. Okay, now a really quick and important thing about investing is that if you buy a stock and you spend $1,000 and you buy 10 shares of a stock that's worth $100 each, if that stock goes to zero, you lose your whole investment. You lose your $1,000. It's unlikely that a stock goes right to zero, but in general, you're capped by your losses for how much you put in. Now, the interesting thing about short selling is that your losses are actually uncapped because the stock can go up to infinity. The stock could go up to $1 million a share, $2 million a share, $1 billion a share. The stock will go to whatever the market is agreeing to sell at. But because there's no zero there, because the stock price can't go negative, there's no lower bound. It can go to infinity. So that means when people open short positions, if the stock just takes off, their losses can actually eclipse what they put in. So that means if you take $1 million short position against GameStop, you can lose $100 million on that. You can lose $1 billion on that. And that is why this is such a very powerful way to transfer wealth. Now, keep in mind, these mega rich people who open these massive short positions and then try to manipulate the market to crash the price, to steal money off you, they're hoping that you're weak and they steal money off you by basically buying your shares after they induce panic by themselves creating a massive sell order. These people play these games forever. They've always played these games, and they do so because they've got so much money to throw around at it. Now, if these people lose money in this way, they can actually lose tremendous amounts of money. You can actually lose a lot of money short selling, specifically when you're short naked selling, because now you can open so many shorts against the stock that there's, again, not enough stock to cover the short positions. And this is why this has really taken off and gone crazy. This is not about GameStop stock. So let's be clear about that. This is a battle of our generations and fighting the wealth inequality that exists in the planet. This is the actual Robin Hood taking money from the rich, giving it back to the poor, playing the exact same rules, and this is playing by the rules that they use against us. So people right now are making money off of GameStop when they do end up selling because they bought low and the price has gone through the roof, and they're paying off education debt, they're paying off medical bills, they're buying houses for their parents, and basically this money is coming from these giant hedge funds. Make no mistake, this is absolutely a bubble, this is a house of cards, and it will come down. There's no way that it doesn't come down. And how this plays out is when it does come down, the people who sell first are going to be the ones who get rewarded the most. The people who stick it to the man for the longest are going to miss the drop off. They're going to miss their sell time, and they're basically going to, lose their investment. Now, a lot of people who are joining into this, myself included, money that I put into it, I don't ever even want it back. So I put in a little bit of money, and I consider it a donation to fight the good fight. I don't care to ever sell it. I'm never going to sell it. They're not getting that stock back off me. Some people might ask, is it too late to join in? It's absolutely not too late. However, if you join in right now, you're not going to join in because it's a financial investment. You're joining in because you're, a new warrior fighting the fight against the rich. And you're trying to lock up stock so that when they have to buy back and their contracts end this Friday and next Friday, that there's just no stock available for them to buy up. And the price goes through the roof. Now, you can time your exit and try to time your exit so that you do recoup some of your money, but fully understand that you could buy today at $350, $400, $500, wherever it is right now. And it could be worth, in 10 minutes later, it could be worth $10. So if you put in $1,000, 10 minutes later, that $1,000 could be worth $5. So should you buy in right now? Absolutely not. Nobody here should buy GameStop stock. It's reckless, and I don't condone anyone buying it. I just want people to understand what this is, what GameStop, why is GameStop all across the news right now, and most importantly, the significance of it. Because these hedge funds that are opening these short positions, many of them don't even take your money unless you have like $1 million. They don't even care. You're not even worth their time. They're not going to invest any of your money unless you're worth like $1 million. So the money that somewhere like Melvin Capital is losing, it has $8 billion of assets under management. And right now it's probably at around $20 billion in debt. So what is this whole GameStop thing? What's happened in the last couple days is all the evidence that anybody needs to know that the world is controlled by these mega rich people. So last night, the Wall Street Bets forum on Reddit basically had a distributed denial of service attack. Tons and tons of new accounts were created and basically just started spamming that subreddit and the comments and threads on it with stuff like, buy Walmart shares, buy this. Hey guys, I'm really afraid of GameStop. I'm going to sell my position. I think everyone else should as well. And the moderators of that subreddit have been trying to ban people and stop it because it's one-day-old accounts that are showing up saying, oh, you guys better sell because this whole house of cards is coming crashing down. Now, I suggest, that they track all the IP addresses of all the stuff, save that information, and maybe submit it to the FBI, if considering, maybe the FBI is not compromised or anything like that. But make no mistake, this is illegal. It is illegal to perform a denial of service attack. It is illegal to spam and try to attack in that way information and freedom of speech. This caused the actual subreddit to get shut down. The Discord server got shut down. And this is basically internet censorship at its scariest. This is manipulation of people's sentiment in order to manipulate the stock market and basically, at the end of the day, manipulate and steal people's money. This is the wealthy trying to keep the money inside the wealthy's hands because they just play by different rules. Taking it further on the whole playing by different rules thing, this morning, trading platforms across the world got shut down. All of a sudden, they had a hard time, accessing levels of service. And you could say, well, there's a lot of people buying GameStop, so they're crashing the servers. Well, interestingly enough, many of them, including Robinhood, were actually available to trade, but only to sell your positions, only to sell the stock. You cannot buy any GameStop stock as of when I'm making this video. This is direct 100% corruption. This is 100% illegal, regardless of what any terms of service say. This is 100% illegal. So right now there are petitions to write the SEC and petition to investigate this fraudulent activity, this completely 100% illegal market manipulation activity.
Just to put that into perspective, imagine I was mega rich and I bought a stock And I'm hoping that the stock goes up, but it actually goes down. And I say to everybody else, hey guys, for now, actually, I'm gonna not allow you guys to actually sell any of the stock. The only thing you can do is actually to buy more because, I have some and I kind of want the price to go up and I'm kind of mega rich. So I'm actually gonna force all trading platforms to only allow you guys to buy the stock. Thanks. Furthermore, CNBC released a story yesterday that Melvin Capital's CEO has basically closed out his short positions. Now this happened in Now, I've edited out this section because I am not sure if I am disseminating correct or incorrect information here. Go look up the story yourself and decide for yourself if you think that that is even physically possible to do. But I do want to make sure that I get the truth across, and I don't want to just submit opinion. Make everybody very upset that this is the kind of rules that these guys are allowed to play with. I just hope that they get punished for this. I hope that there's some justice and equity in the world, and it just made me actually want to go in and actually join this fight. So when I saw that, that's when I actually decided that I was going to buy. And again, I don't suggest anyone else does because chances are you are going to lose every penny that you put in. I'm considering mine a donation to the cause to fight this rampant inequality and injustice. So that is what is going on with GameStop. That is why this is super important. This is not about GameStop. This is about probably one of the greatest social justice battles maybe of my lifetime. This is the poor fighting back and storming and burning the castle of the king who's hoarding all of the food during, arguably one of the most difficult times that the average person has had to deal with. There's tremendous job loss right now in the industries all across the world, and the stock market is at booming all-time highs. None of this makes any sense. The rich are getting richer. You're losing your job. It's absolutely corrupt. It's disgusting. And it's the reason why I made a video about financial things when I'm a gardening video, because I want people to know the realities of the world that we live in. So comment below if you like this video. Comment below any of your thoughts around this. If you have any information to add, please add it. Again, I am not a financial expert. None of this is investment advice. I don't suggest anyone buy GameStop. I actually suggest people stay far away from it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one, and keep fighting that good fight. Build gardens, increase your self-resiliency, reduce your dependency on the systems of corruption that live and take advantage of us in our everyday life. Drop your cost of living down as low as possible. Raise the ability of your house to generate income instead of suck income from you. Turn your homestead from a liability into an asset by planting fruit trees, starting gardens, and becoming more self-resilient. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.